A lot of us are probably used to drawing style inspirations from platforms like Instagram or Pinterest, but recently I've been feeling like the recommendations are a little too repetitive, and it probably has something to do with my algorithm and the styles that I'm naturally drawn to. And while my mind was wandering around the idea that trends come back every 20 years or so, I thought it would be a fun idea to take a look at my old style from 20 years ago and see if I can draw any inspiration from it. Because 2005 was the first year that I was finally able to afford my own clothes. I got my first part-time job, and that just gave me more financial autonomy. And I no longer had to justify to my parents why I needed more money for clothes. So I thought it'd be fun to take a little trip down memory lane today and talk about the top 3 things, whether specific styles or items that I was super obsessed with 20 years ago. And I hope that this could inspire you to take a look at your old style and see if there are any elements that you can incorporate into your current style now. If you're new here, I'm Jen, and on this channel we talk about defining and improving our personal style by catering to our own individual uniqueness. And I generally talk a lot about theoretical stuff, but as you can tell with today's topic, anything related to style is fair game here. So I know I briefly mentioned in the intro about trends cycling every 20 years or so, but this video is not going to be about going through every single trend of 2005. There were trends that I was definitely interested in and that I followed, but there were also other trends that I could not care less about. For example, the boho chic trend that got popular with the Olsen twins and I think even Nicole Richie, the look with the skirt layered over pants, the whole juicy couture tracksuit setup. All of those were trends that I didn't really follow, not only because I wasn't interested, but also because I couldn't afford them. I mean, juicy couture was expensive for a high school kid with a minimum wage part-time job. And as expected, a lot of these trends are coming back or they already have come back, but I'm actually still not interested in a lot of these trends. So I thought it was just really funny to see how consistent my taste has stayed over time, a lot more so than I realized. And I think you guys might find my perspective on past trends to be interesting. I'm Korean, and even though I grew up here, I grew up with a lot of Korean friends around me, so I was always exposed to trends from both North America and Korea. And my style was really heavily influenced by Korean culture. I drew a lot of inspiration from K-pop and K-drama and all that, and back then these things were not so globally well known. And with that said, the first style that I was absolutely obsessed with back in 2005, and that I think can still be incorporated into my current style, is the wolf cut. I know the style has been a Western trend for a number of years now, but it actually originated from South Korean trends from the mid-2000s. I mean, it's essentially a variation on a mullet, so the original mullet trend probably started from the West, but I'm pretty sure the actual term wolf cut was coined in Korea. And this was the style that literally hogged all of the hype for both genders. I do think it was actually more popular amongst men. Like every Korean dude that I knew had this haircut, and the longer the back of the hair was, the cooler you were. And this was the style that I was super drawn to and obsessed with as well. I think it was something with the roughness of the heavy layers that really added a rebellious look. And some of the musicians that I idolized at the time had this haircut. And I can say that this was probably when I started getting drawn to masculine and edgy styles, and this hairstyle had a large part to do with that. The funny thing is, last year I got some heavy layers and then I created a whole video about layers talking about the proportional effects. But style-wise, I actually felt like my hairstylist literally gave me a middle part version of my hair from 20 years ago. So that was just another confirmation for me that trends really do come back every 20 years. I do think that the more modernized version of the wolf cut just looks so much better with all the added texture, and it's a style that I've been debating about for my next hairstylist appointment. I'm actually trying to decide between the wolf cut and the hime cut, which has a lot more of a blunt shape to the layers, and I think they're also called the step mullet. So either way, I think I might be jumping on the mullet train one way or another. The next style item I was obsessed with, there's actually two and I can't prioritize one over the other, so we'll just group them as accessories, but specifically there's scarves and beanies. Remember those useless skinny scarves from the mid 2000s? They were literally everywhere. And I didn't have any juicy couture tracksuits, but I had a lot of these skinny scarves. And I've been seeing some yay or nay debates about the practicality of these skinny scarves in the last couple of years. And the more I look at them, the more I feel like I think I'm ready to bring these back into my wardrobe. I mean, I've made it a goal to incorporate more accessories into my style this year, and I've been thinking about picking up knitting again as a hobby, so maybe I can make one for myself this year. And similar to that, there was that Alexander Wang skull pattern scarf that was also everywhere. And I had a fake one that I got for like $10. But because I'm trying to eliminate very obvious branding this year, and that's a conscious goal for my wardrobe, I probably won't be introducing the exact same item into my closet. But I do like the idea of wearing more patterns, and especially since I tend to steer away from patterns in my clothing, I can definitely see myself introducing patterns in smaller sections of my outfits like accessories or scarves. And then the beanies. I used to own so many different colors and styles of beanies, and I don't really think it's a style item that specifically represents the year 2005, but like I said, my inspirations were heavily influenced by Korean trends and especially Korean menswear trends. So I'll pop some photos up here for you because I used to own these exact items that these guys are wearing. I don't think that I'll be going with the same color or pattern choices as these photos, but I have made it a goal to utilize more accessories into my style. So I think this kind of fits in really perfectly. The next item that myself from 20 years ago was super obsessed with was the Adidas track jackets. And again, I don't think this is an item that specifically represents the year 2005. I mean, Adidas track jackets have been around for, I don't know for how long, since like the 60s or the 70s. But it was just a personal obsession of mine. Again, because of the heavy Korean pop culture influence, and specifically because of this one music video. So I ended up getting myself this bright yellow Adidas track jacket with green stripes, which are literally my worst colors. And I am not a soccer fan or a fan of Team Brazil. I have no interest in that. I just wanted an Adidas track jacket. And why I didn't opt for black, I have no idea. But I will say that this obsession will always leave me as Team Adidas over Team Nike, and that will never change. I have been seeing a lot of styling videos using these track jackets in the last few years, and I've been debating whether I should get one for myself for nostalgia's sake, but I have to say that none of these style videos really inspire me because they always seem to pair the jacket with really trendy items like knee-length jorts or balloon skirts or the oversized aviator glasses. And all these items just feel a little bit too young and trendy for my liking. So I'm still gathering inspiration for how to style the item in a way that makes sense to my personal style, just so I can get enough wear out of them. So it's been sitting on my wish list for a while, but I haven't pulled the trigger yet. I did get these bright blue Adidas track pants last year, and I actually seem to be getting a lot more wear out of them than I had expected to, so maybe I'll get the track jacket this year. Now, other than these 3 items, there were also many other styles that I was obsessed with, like the military-inspired jackets and patterns, cargo pants, the whole giant belt over the shirt and pants look. But none of those really feel like something that I'm willing to incorporate into my current style now. I've really developed a preference towards minimal and clean lines throughout my 20s, and minimal is actually one of my style words now. So any sort of loud details like big pockets on pants or big buttons or buckles, those things just don't feel like a part of my style anymore. So that was a really fun exercise to see which parts of my style have stayed consistent and which parts have changed over time. It was also good to make observations about the styles that I've never been drawn to and will never be drawn to, although I admire them a lot. The styles that I'll always love and will always have a place in my heart for. And then the styles that I used to enjoy, but they just no longer fit or serve my current self. Even with the styles that I'll always have a preference towards, I realized that how I would incorporate the different elements into putting an outfit together has definitely changed over time, so that was also really interesting to see. So I hope this video inspires you to take a look back at your old self and your style and to draw inspiration from within. I hope you liked the video and I'll see you in my next one. Until then, stay unique and stay gorgeous.